Dusk, gathering shadows hover. Doors close, lamps are lit. In heaven, a team of angels scramble to draw the black curtain of night above the earth. Behind them, more angels follow, whirling and spinning their way across the sky. And in the wake of their dance, little lights appear, hanging lanterns, sparks of hope, tiny holes pricked in the fabric of the night, letting God's light shine through. They took the world in for the night and then gather together and settle down to tell the stories that stitch together who we are. The first angel speaks. Once there was nothing but God and his voice. And God used his voice and spoke aloud, and things began to happen. He called the world into being and everything in it. And then God, who is light and life himself, took a spark of his light and placed it into every single thing that he had made. And to care for his creation, he made his people. They saw his light in everything around them and in each other, and they knew it was from God, and they stayed close to him, and they tended his world. But as time went by, they forgot that the light was special, and then they began to forget to notice it. Sometimes they looked and the light was right in front of them, but they didn't look long enough, and they didn't look hard enough, and they didn't see that it was there. Sometimes they closed their eyes or turned their heads away, so the light couldn't reach them. And then, one day, they started looking for the light in all the wrong places. And they thought they had found it again, but it wasn't God's light. And the false light they had found pulled them further and further away from God. And as they danced in its beams, their feet trampled the earth and made their mark. And they turned creation to their advantage, instead of tending it as they were intended to. And as God's heart broke, he watched and he waited, and he didn't give up on them. He missed them, and he longed for them to find his light again. And so he stayed within their reach, sending prophets to those who chose to hear, and signs to those who chose to see. And then, when the time was right, he revealed his plan. A second angel takes over. When the Creator moved to save the world by showing us how we should live, he made himself small. And he sought consent to be planted into the womb of a girl. The Creator became creation. He placed himself into human hands to grow as they grew, protected and nurtured by a human mother who risked her own well-being for his. He placed himself into human hands and their flawed systems of justice, subject to the whim of a human father who, faced with the option to throw the first stone and destroy that which was not his own, chose instead to protect and nurture. And when 9 months had passed, and this newly formed family, who carried the vastness of the world inside them, were uprooted from their home and sent to walk the land to a town far away, a town that was home yet not their home, and in the midst of twitching hooves and swishing tails, he was born. Born beneath the patient, persistent gaze of the animals he had made. And the animals recognized the exertion as one that they shared. When her muscles strained and her body wrenched, they did so on common creation ground. And when the struggle found release, the Creator was born, and the fabric of the night was torn by the cry of a baby. The Creator's cry. And that wordless cry communicated one simple message. I am here. Nurture me. Care for me. See my creation and tend to its needs. I am here. And in the aftermath, the hills rang with angel voices singing to those who care for God's creatures. And in the skies, stars moved across the heavens, drawing the distant eye of those who had not forgotten to seek God's light there. God, the Creator, became creation. He made himself vulnerable and placed himself into human hands to remind us of our call to care. A third angel speaks. And as they gazed on their baby, his eyes so small, so like theirs, so full of light, his tiny hands and feet so like theirs, so full of strength, they did not know that the care they poured into him would create a man who would change the world, calling others to follow him. They did not know that his feet would walk the land, connecting with his own creation. They did not know that he would take natural resources of food and drink and stretch them to meet the need of all who hunger and thirst. They did not know that he would face down storms and walk on waves, protecting people from the elements. They did not know that he would heal and make whole the damaged and the hurting, mending the broken with empathy and love. They did not know that his own creation would worship him, that the unbroken colt would carry him, and the stones would cry out his name. They did not know that he would break death. The Creator became the created. And in so doing, he drew our eyes anew to the light that he placed in everything he had made. He renewed our call to tend and to care, to find him in the earth and everything in it, to recognize our impact on the things he has made and be one with them. The Creator's cry with one simple message. I am here. Nurture me. Care for me. See my creation and tend to its needs. I am here.